Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today's reflection, I literally just thought of it now. And the reflection is this: your best and your conditions are mutually exclusive. That means that they occur irregardless of one another. I don't know if it's irregardless or regardless, whatever, it doesn't matter. But anyways, the point being that your circumstances does not affect the amount of effort you put in. You can use it as an excuse if you want your circumstances. I had bad circumstances, therefore I couldn't. Therefore I couldn't give my best. Therefore I couldn't accomplish this. But your circumstances and your best are mutually exclusive. One does not affect the other, because your best is not based off of results. It's based off of effort and intention. Indeed, actions are judged by their intentions. You know, the reason why I say this, and I know it's a fact, is because when I was in year 12 and I did my maths A level in year 12, I got an A star. I hated every second of it. I was in year 12 and I was like, what am I doing with the rest of my life after this point? I was like, why am I here? Bro, you will see me in the common room just sitting there looking into nothing. I didn't know why I was there and I hated it. I was like, what am I doing this for? Like, what happens after these 2 years? And I still got an A star. So this is what I mean. Your best and your conditions are mutually exclusive. One does not impact the other. It only impacts the other if you choose for it to, if you want it to be an excuse. You know, another thing I did, pretty stupid thing actually, but again, it's more proof of this. I ran a marathon at, I think 3 a.m, something like that. And this was midwinter. It was cold, extremely cold, and it was very long. But I still did it. I didn't eat any food. I had one small glass of like Zamzam, and then I was out. And I had a banana as well before I left. And I was out, and I think it took me like 7 hours, I think. Or something like that, I think. But no food, no water, and I still got it done. Your circumstances and your best are mutually exclusive. They do not impact one another. Again, it's in Allah's hands whether or not your efforts bear fruit. And it is your intention that will be the deciding factor on whether or not you're rewarded in the hereafter. But your best and your conditions are mutually exclusive. They do not impact one another. Unless my leg broke, again, but I can still say I did my best, because I was at a point where I couldn't walk. If my legs got broken, I can't run a marathon now, can I? Even then, some guys would say, cool. Hifz, for example. Unless my tongue is getting cut off, or even reading Arabic, reading the Quran, unless my tongue gets cut off, the conditions do not affect my best. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy. Whenever I read or I'm trying to do hifz, bro, my mind will always turn to whatever's going on in my life else. Everything other than the hifz. Anything I'm worried about, anything I'm not having a good time with, all tries to pop into my mind when I'm doing this. But your conditions and your best are mutually exclusive. They do not impact one another, unless you decide for them to. Don't gaslight yourself into thinking, yeah, I couldn't do my hifz because I had an argument with my brother or my sister, or had an argument with my parents, or it's cold outside, therefore I can't go gym and work out. It's not how it works. Your conditions and your best are mutually exclusive. They don't impact one another. And I know I keep repeating it, but I really want you to understand, because I'm not gonna lie, something that I do, that I'm even being reminded of now. Your conditions and your best are mutually exclusive. If I could be depressed for a year and still get the best grade in the country, if it's 3 a.m. and there's no one around me and I can run a marathon when it's winter and it's flipping cold, bro, it's proof enough for me anyways. If you want to sit here and say they're not, you know what, you live your life, you stay in your world, I'm gonna stay in mine, we'll see what happens. But I know for a fact your conditions and your best are mutually exclusive. It doesn't matter if you don't have the best conditions. Your best, put your best in, do everything you can, is not dependent upon your conditions. It might restrict the amount you can do, but in terms of percentage wise, you can still put 100%. You can still put 100% effort in no matter what. In terms of the logistical things you can do, it might actually restrict it. But in terms of the effort you put in and the intent of your actions, not affected at all. So when it comes to these goals for Ramadan and the prep for it, it doesn't matter if you're having a day where you can't be asked or you only remember to do it at the end of the day. Your conditions and your best are mutually exclusive. They do not impact one another. That's literally the reflection. That's all it is. Work, man. Just work. Stop giving yourself excuses, saying, "Oh, this happened, that happened." Life happens. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not an excuse. You weren't promised ease. Like, this life is a test. If you want to let every little thing be an excuse, again, stay in your world. And I'll stay in mine. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.